So on the 1st of April, we're beginning the exploration of emotional enlightenment. And so I thought this video would be helpful to share a little bit about what we're going to be doing and why we're going to be doing it. There'll be, of course, lots more of this in the programme, beginning with my opening call on the 3rd of April, where we'll go deeper with this kind of context. And then we'll move through the following 3 weeks with 2 deep dive expert calls, and then a Q&A, open Q&A at the end, and an integrating energy transmission to close the month off beautifully as we transition either out of there or into the next month, depending on what your preference is. So emotional enlightenment for me is coming into relationship with our emotions in a whole different way. Most of us have been told when we're little that our emotions are wrong, that they're too much, that we need to calm down, settle down, that we shouldn't be angry, that we shouldn't be too excited even. So I've not yet met anybody. Do tell me if you are someone or have met someone who hasn't been brought up like that. But everyone I've met so far was basically told their emotions are wrong. And so in that experience, often as a child, we heard, I am wrong, not just this emotion is wrong, but we took that as I am wrong. And from that basis, we then started to create all sorts of incredibly intelligent strategies and navigation systems and vigilances to make sure that we didn't have these emotional experiences, or that if we did, nobody would see them in the way that they had been shown before, that we would make extra effort to hide it and cover it and manipulate it and change it, so that nobody could ever judge us and reject us like we felt as a child. So this month is very much about starting to unravel, or continuing to unravel, if this is work you've already been doing, these confusions around our emotional system. And it's such valuable work because emotions are a very natural part of your experience. That's why little kids express them so freely, without thought, without consideration, without second guessing, without doubt, without wondering, or what will people think if I say this or express in this way. They just express it. And then all the people around them tell them it's wrong and it shouldn't be like that and it's too much and they need to calm down. Or they might keep experiences from the child to avoid the child potentially experiencing something like that. So it really is incredibly, incredibly loving work when we turn around and we start coming back to ourselves, belonging to ourselves, being with ourselves in our emotional experience in a way that we probably never have been before, and in a way that we very unlikely had anybody there with us when we were a child to be with us in our emotions then. And the brilliant thing is that the more we do this, the more we feel whole, the more we feel aligned within ourselves, the more we feel grounded, because we're no longer trying to avoid or resist or navigate away from emotional experiences. So we're just able to be ourselves a lot more of the time. And that feels so much easier, so much easier. So let me bring up my lovely river metaphor to just illustrate where we've been so far in the Enlightenment event journey, and also therefore why emotions are the next step in our journey. Find the right page to share. So far in the Enlightenment event in February, we were focusing more down here at the world, not exclusively at all. Nikki and Claire did an amazing job of bringing all of this into the conversation. But we were, in Make It Visible, we were really seeing how the way we experience the world is our indicator, is the system which is showing us whether there's something available for enlightenment within us. So that if we're feeling flow and alignment and everything's just going tickety-boo, it's an unusual phrase, I don't normally use that one. Anyway, tickety-boo, then we know that we're just being ourselves in the flow, in that aligned expression. If things in the world look like a problem or difficult, if they look like a struggle, if we're suffering, then we know it's time to look upstream, to look at what we're believing about ourselves, about the other, about the world, to see what we're believing about all of our experience, to see where we are in an unhealthy relationship with our inner experience. And that is what creates the appearance of a problem or a difficulty in the world. So that's where we were in February, using the world as our mirror to make visible what's available in us for enlightenment, which basically means what's available in us for love and understanding. So, and by the way, when you join, you get access to all these archives. So if you join for April, you will get access to all the content from February when we were making it visible. So then, once we've made our experience visible, we're realizing that, oh, the world's appearing difficult like this because I'm believing some stuff. That brings us up here to the level of the human mind, where my whirlpools live. Now, the whirlpools represent the thoughts and ideas that we're taking to be absolute definite truths. In a wider perspective, this level of the river generally represents the human mind and thoughts and thinking. There is no problem with thoughts and thinking. They only become a problem and create a world of problem when we believe that this thought is absolutely 100% definitely true. And so in March, we've been asking, well, is it true? Is it actually true? Both in terms of the content of the thoughts, what the thoughts are saying. So if the thought is saying they don't like you, we can question that. Is that true? Is that definitely true? Do we definitely know that person doesn't like me? What other possibilities are there? What else could be true? To loosen and lighten some of these ideas that sometimes we've clung to as though life rafts. And then also in March, we've been asking even about the nature of thought. What is thought like in and of itself? These things called thoughts that we seem to spend so much of our time experiencing and being lost in or reacting against, what even are they? What is it that we're addicted to? And now, in that recognition of what we're addicted to at the level of the mind, we can start to then understand what is it behind that that's driving that addictive reaction? What is it that we're trying to escape from that's sending us into this addictive relationship with thoughts and thinking, as though the solution to everything is there? And if I can just think well enough and hard enough, then I'll think my way to the right answer. All of that is, of course, continuing to create a world down here of problems and difficulty. So, having looked at thoughts and thinking in March, again, you'll get access to all of that archive content from Amy Johnson and from Grace Bell and from myself. So now with an understanding that our thoughts and our thinking, what they really are and what they're really telling us, that loosens and lightens our experience enough that we can become unafraid of thoughts and thinking enough that we can now access more of our feelings that come along with these thoughts. And hugely, we now get more access to the emotions that sit behind that thought feeling system that exists at this level. And so now we get to come into different relationship with our emotions. So to be really clear, because we use these words differently, different people use these words differently. So for me, emotions are the most natural movement of energy within us that we then label emotions: sadness, happiness, anger. And that's different from the feelings that come when we believe a thought to be 100% definitely true. So those feelings tend to be yucky and sticky, like frustration, like stress, like irritation, like overwhelm. Those feelings come when we believe these thoughts to be 100% true. So as I say, seeing through the thoughts, seeing and questioning the truth of them. What are they really? Becoming unafraid of the thoughts gives us more access to experience the feelings without staying in the thought side of that coin. And in becoming more familiar with those feelings, it then gives us access to these emotions, these pure emotions, which actually are very beautiful and harmless when we're actually in contact with them as they are, rather than how we've imagined them to be and what we've imagined them to be saying about us. But the reason we've imagined that is genuine, like fair enough. Because when we were little, we were probably told our emotions were wrong and too much and shouldn't be like that, and we should calm down and we should be less and we should be quieter and we shouldn't get so overexcited and we certainly shouldn't get so angry and we really shouldn't express so fully and so completely. When we received that message as a child, we shut the door on all of this emotional experience and said, no, wrong. I'm now going to resist you. I'm now going to try and push you away. I'm now going to try and avoid you because all the grown-ups around me are telling me that you're wrong, dear emotions. And in fact, at that age, we said, therefore I am wrong for experiencing you. So a whole bunch of confusion got collected at this point. And now, through this journey, we are reversing that experience. We are undoing and unlearning all of that confusion so that you come back into healthy relationship with your emotions, so that you come back into close, loving relationship with your emotions, to see them, to experience them, to understand them, to allow them to move freely again. Because that's all they want, as all of life, all of the river wants to move and flow and come into the world, so too the emotions. They just want to move and flow in your inner world. And so this month is really all about making friends again with your emotional experience, becoming unafraid of your emotional experience, so that you no longer spend your life trying to resist and reject and disallow and judge yourself for all of that. It's time for that to be done. It's time to put that energy to better use, to be creating in alignment in the world, in whatever that is, whether it's doing a garden, whether it's ironing, whether it's speaking to people in the shops, whether it's doing a job, whether it's creating something, what we'd consider normally creative, music, art, whatever it is, it does not matter what you are creating. What matters and what you want is the freedom of this movement of emotion, to be unafraid of that emotion, so that you do continue that flow of life down into the world with your creation coming into form. No longer needing to go via a whole bunch of ideas about whether this emotion is right, whether I should be feeling it, whether it's too much, what people will think about it, whether I'm going to be rejected because of it. Let's be done with all of that. And let's come into close, loving relationship with our emotional experience so that it is included as it already is, so that it can be there as it already is, absent of resistance, absent of the idea that it's a problem. So if this all sounds like something that would be valuable to you, if you can see that there are places where your emotional experience is deemed wrong, is deemed too much, is deemed unacceptable, where you see you're judging yourself, where you're doubting yourself, where you're trying to fix or change or control your emotional experience because it looks like it should be different. If any or all of that resonates, then please consider joining us for April for Emotional Enlightenment. Well, this is absolutely the journey we're going on. Turning back towards our emotions, seeing how they're already included, acknowledging and being with them to show that they're already included and we include them, and supporting them to move again, be back in that natural movement and flow of life as they should be, so that you are then more of your aligned expression, which is pure joy, pure freedom, peace within rather than battle within. And from that place, anything you're doing, anything you're creating is a bonus, is a cherry on the top. And we love it. We love all of it. But primarily, we love that feeling of being aligned in ourselves, no longer in battle with our emotions. So if you'd love this, then click the link below. The doors are open 28th of March. And we have 3 payment levels that you can choose from. All levels get the same access. There's a bonus for those who join on 333 or 177, so check that out in the information. But apart from that, everybody gets the same access, including access to those archives from February and March. So if you'd like to join us, we would so love to see you there. Lots of love.